Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over my fifth and final round game from the 2024 Midwest Open. If you did not see my last game, it did end up in a loss, so at this stage in the tournament I was 2-2. And what made this tournament exciting is the person in first place had no losses, and then the person in second place had one loss, and that was to the first place person. But then after that, there was a lot of people with 2-2 win-loss records and like 1-3 win-loss records. So it was a huge bloodbath at the lower end of the division. And so that made things really exciting going into the final round because a lot of things could switch around. Now, this match, going into it, and me and my opponent both thought this, we were like, okay, this is most likely the third place match, just based on opponents and win-loss records and some of opponents' scores. We were like, okay, this is most likely for third place because the winner of this would end up being 3-2. And again, because of how close the records were, that's pretty good to be able to be 3-2. But speaking of my opponent was Cheuk To Tsui, sorry. And I actually knew Chuck from last year's Go Congress, and we played in the first round at the Go Congress. And in fact, I reviewed that game. I remember that game pretty well, actually. And knowing that Chuck would be at the Midwest Open before the tournament even started, we were like, oh, let's hope we play each other. And yep, turns out we were able to, and we were able to meet in the final round for third place, which was pretty cool. But without further ado, let's get into the game. My opponent is black. I am white. Again, opening. I say it in about every video at this point, but as long as you stick to what you're comfortable with and you stick on Joseki lines, like there's so many options that it's hard to say, this one's better than this one for certain. So just stick to things that you're comfortable with and that you at least know for pretty good that is Joseki or not. And then play there. And then attach again. Like, is this the only move? No. I could play on the bottom. I could maybe attach up top. I could maybe kick and pincer, which I think I should do, make black uncomfortable. But as long as you know the follow-ups for this attachment pretty well. Again, you can't know every variation, but as long as you know most of them and you're not going to throw the game into turmoil for yourself, this kind of move can't be bad. But again, there's a lot of moves here. Black Hana is on top, and this makes sense because after this variation up top, black's really looking for M17. So it wouldn't really make much sense for black to play something down because then M17 is going to be worth less. Or even something like this, right? It's going to be worth less. So black comes on top. So Hana under. So black offers me the corner, or at least some of the corner, or at least offers me to a healthy base, slide, to be able to get M17. So again, we can see based on black's choice that this move makes sense. Again, if we did this kind of move, this kind of variation, this move next at M17 doesn't make that much sense because what is black gaining up top? Not much. So if black did choose this variation, which is fine, then it would probably mean black's going to do something else, maybe kick on the bottom or invade the bottom or something. So far, what black's choices are making sense. But again, there's a lot of choices here, so as long as black is comfortable with that, that's what's most important. So then attach. So the point of this attach is not that black would do this immediately, but if black ever got the shoulder hit, it would connect up black's groups very nicely. And not that I'm trying to attack black's group. I do notice there's this cut at E13. And this cut at E13 is more potent when black can't connect to the lower side. So you'll see that I end up using this cut to my advantage because I was able to separate. And as opposed to just playing this kind of move, or this kind of move is very Hante, it's not as Sente, right? If black just goes elsewhere, my follow-up isn't that severe. When I go here, follow-up is much more severe if black ignores. So black Hanes, I extend. So again, it's like I did this, but if you compare to the game, I got Sente, right? It's like I did this, but black went elsewhere. But in the game, I was able to get this move and do it in Sente. So now that I've separated for the most part, again, black can still connect if black needs to at like E9. But at least now I don't get pushed down to the second line. So now I kick, and jump. This is very important. Especially after you've kicked here, black is now looking to cut at P17. Now you might be saying, well, then why would you kick? You know, that forces black to make this weakness here. Well, even without that kick, black can still attack the whole group. Like if I go elsewhere, sure, maybe black can't cut me directly, but black can play this kind of move or take the corner. So I need to do something to keep my base. So I kick. Now I need to fix this weakness. So I kick again and then jump. Can't let black connect. If you go elsewhere, this attachment here perfectly seals white in, and now black has connected up. So don't want this. Now, before I do this, I should now ask black questions into the corner. So what I should do here, I think, is attach, because again, this is Sente, and cut. And this is, again, just to ask black what black wants. Later, black was able to kick me, and while it did end in Gote for black, it meant there wasn't that much Aji in the corner. But doing this gives me a lot of Aji in the corner. The whole point of this is whatever black does, I'm going to go elsewhere, assuming black doesn't put me in Atari. Right, like obviously I'll answer this once, but even if black maybe descends, I'll just go elsewhere. Or if black just Ataris, I'll go elsewhere. The idea is I'm preventing that kick, and I'm making black decide what black wants, even if black doesn't really know what black wants at this point. So yeah, especially after making this exchange. Again, if you did it here, obviously this wouldn't make much sense, but because I have already made these exchanges, I think it makes a little more sense to do it now. Just to prevent that kick. Again, if I do this, not Sente. Black's going to go elsewhere. So just is strictly a probe. So jump. And then black kicks. And so this is what I was talking about when I was trying to prevent that. But remember, when you get kicked and you want Sente, you have two options. You can go elsewhere or you can Hane. This is a very good move. Black answers. And then I can go elsewhere. And so here, there's a move that is screaming on this board. A move that is screaming. Do you have any guesses? What do you think? What move looks huge on this board? It has to be R10. Because black has a weak group, and you can exploit that fact to gain elsewhere. So black probably needs to add a move. Maybe something like this. And this exchange already is good for white because I'm making some territory on the side and black is running into the center, which right now isn't worth that much. So maybe, what if I jump again? Black jumps and then maybe even lean. Again, we're not specifically trying to kill black. That's never the goal, but we're trying to get some profit in doing so. So already this move at M13 is reducing the top side. My problem in this game was I was too fixated on kind of letting black have points that I wasn't thinking about my own points. And that's like opening 101. Don't worry about taking away your opponent's points per se. Focus on building yourself. So I wouldn't say this move's necessarily bad, but you'll see the result that happens. I end up not really making any points with this stone here. So black jumps, of course. And then I poke here. This is very standard. Bamboo joint, of course. And then jump here. So again, this move was... It looked nice. It looked fancy, right? Ooh, double large knights move. But when black played here, I was like, yeah, black starts to get comfortable here after black plays this big bend. So really, I think I should just jump. And I wanted to do this. The reason why I wanted to do this move specifically, and I didn't really think of anything else, is because I wanted this peep. Again, this move is better, or works better now that black's connection here isn't as smooth, isn't as clear. So that's why I wanted this move. But even if I jump, and like let's say black jumps, I can still get this peep. Because there's the connection of the large knights here. So yeah, I should definitely jump here to put more pressure on this group. Because what's another thing they say in the opening? Avoid thickness. Avoid your opponent's thickness. So black's thick in the upper left, whereas black is weak in the top. So I should play closer to the top and avoid getting close to this wall here. So when black goes here, even here, I needed to kick here. Because this kick would be sente. Most likely sente. It's hard for black to ignore this. Then I can peep. And then maybe just jump somehow. And again, I'm out and I'm ahead. And that's key. That's key. But I was so focused on keeping light shape that I play here. But black peeps. And it's one of those things that I knew black would peep here. So it's like, why would I allow this peep? Because now after black gets this peep, one, I start to get heavy. Look how heavy I am. But secondly, now this peep here that I wanted at f13 doesn't work as well. And black gets this move. And all of a sudden, black is getting what black wants. Black is pushing me towards black's thickness. So I peep. The idea with this move is black's not going to connect. But if black pushes through, I'm just going to... I'm almost forcing black to push through black's own shape here. Black asks once here, that's fine. And then Hanes. I thought this was a strange move at the time, but I think it does make sense. It's taking away my base while keeping black secure in the corner, like securing black space in the corner. Because it's now forcing me to have to run. I didn't realize, like, if black, I don't know, does something else. Like, if I even just play this move, I'm starting to get an eye. And now black's upper left, not that it's in any severe danger, but now black has to worry about it. So black Hanes. But yeah, I push up and then play here. Again, I think this move is okay. Because, again, I'm trying to get black to connect here. Black doesn't want to connect there. So I bump. Black Hanes. And all I needed to do here was not touch anything here. Yeah, just play this kind of move. Or, yeah, in the game I push once and just not play anything towards here. But I make this exchange, which is so bad, because I shouldn't be looking to make eyes here. I shouldn't be looking to make eyes here. And later I might want to push through here, right? Like, this is huge. This is huge if I can do that. Plus, when I force black to connect, it's better endgame for black. Later, if black Hanes, I can just block. And no problem. But after I make this exchange, black can Hane and get this Atari. Which by itself, black gains compared to here. Even if black doesn't connect, black has gained a little bit. So just point-wise, this is not a good move. Just not a good move. And the other thing about this kind of position is I was not considering anything else. This was the only move I saw, but why not play this move? Because after this push, this cut is fine, right? No problems. And if black cuts here, Atari, and let's see, maybe not here. Maybe push once more, or maybe sooner. Yeah, maybe now this cut is slightly better, I think. Regardless, the main problem here for me is I was thinking too linearly. I was only considering one or two moves at a time. Or just, even in this case, just one move. So I wasn't even considering, this move wasn't even on my radar. This move wasn't even on my radar. Which is bad. It's bad. So I clamp. Yeah, especially after this. Especially if I'm going to make that clamp, this is what I meant. If I'm going to make that clamp, I at least have to use it. Because I can do this move anyways. This move doesn't help me. Like, it doesn't help to go here. It helps me go here, though. So, yeah. If black cuts, I think the idea is something like this. And then I can cut with Vicente and then connect. And now I am fully connected out. And black hasn't really gained too much. So that's kind of the idea with that cut. So here's a missed timing for black. Black needs to Hane now. Before black connects here, black can get this Hane for sure. Because the whole point of me cutting is to force black to have to connect. So let's say black does this, right? Okay, now black can connect. If black connects here now, which is what black does, now, if I go somewhere else, black goes here now I don't have to necessarily answer. I don't totally have to answer. So, yeah. Before you fix something, see if you can get any extra exchanges. That's very important to go. Now, even after this cut, now this move even works even better. Because after the cut, it's just, I'm okay. So again, I'm not using the stones that are on my board. So even here, I can go here and not even have to worry about letting black capture something. I'm just okay. But I just do this, and again, black just leans against me. I make this exchange, and then black even Hanes, and I cut, and this cut might have been too much. Black played a little passively here. Black could have played some move like Atari and then extend. The idea being, okay, when black just extends, I can now give up the stone if I want to. By Atarying once, this is almost forcing white to have to give up an extra stone, which maybe white doesn't want to do. And now black can even cover or do other things besides just extending down. Now again, in this kind of position, black's going to get a good result regardless. So, yeah. So I do connect down, but like how many points have I gained after this invasion, right? Maybe one or two. Maybe 3 if you count 1 point up top. Barely anything, right? And black basically just switched where his thickness was. Now, again, compared to if I had just done this, right? Something like this. Again, maybe the exact variation wouldn't be the same. But at least here, I've made more points than I did in the game variation. And now black's the one under attack, not me. So, yeah, this whole variation in the game, I was just not happy with. And that actually plays a big factor in this game because after this result, for the next few moves, or not even next few moves, next few dozen moves, more than dozen even, I just feel like I'm behind. And that alters how I played significantly. So black extends, and so I pincer. Like, do I need to pincer here? I'm not so sure. What if I just go down, right? Do I really need to pincer? But I was so, like, I don't want to say tilted, because I was still relatively composed, but I was just innately feeling that, like, oh my goodness, this result was so bad for me, I must be behind. Now, according to an AI, I am behind, but it's only by a few points. But, like, I'm thinking I'm behind by, like, 10 points, something ridiculous. So, again, going back to kind of my goals for the tournament, was one of them was playing, just playing good go. And how can you play good go is by knowing the score of the game. So here I'm being a very lazy go player and not even trying to count. Not even trying to count. But I just looked at the board and said, yeah, I look behind. So, yeah, even here, why not make this extension here, right? Why not attack this upper right group? But I invade. Black jumps. And then I come down because I need my points. Black bumps. This move, questionable. Obviously, black's trying to separate. Might just be better to play this one. This one's more standard. But again, I could just give up the stone, but I say, nope, let's play here. Which, like, I could have played this move, right? Or this kind of move. Something like this. To just connect back to my center stones here. And again, just not, even if black Hane's here, okay, I'll just go elsewhere. Right, something calm. Instead, I just play here, and now I'm inside. Now I have to live. So I stand up, black fixes, and then kick, I guess, right? Taking the bamboo joint shape. Black plays there. I extend up. So now, all of a sudden, I have a weak group. So similarly to my first mistake up here, look how I played towards the thickness, right? I'm letting black use black's thickness. Well, very similarly, just like on the bottom, black has huge thickness here. Huge thickness. And where am I playing? Where black's thick. So, yeah, it was just poor decision making. Just poor decision making. Yeah, if I go here, black can't use their thickness to attack. Black can only use it to make points. Because again, if you look around the board, if I'm just alive everywhere, how can black use this thickness to attack? I don't see a way. So, yeah, this was basically letting black use their thickness. Yep. So again, I'm jumping here, but like, one, this is reducing my own right side, and two, like, where is my base? Like, black leans, but I don't think black needs to do anything crazy. Like, lean's probably fine. Like, this cut shouldn't end poorly for black, but it does complicate things. And very similarly to my last round game, my opponent got into some time trouble. And I think I was too cognizant of that fact, and I started playing quickly to try to gain an advantage. Which, again, sure, that might get me the win, but if my goal is to play better go, not so good, right? So, like, I'm pretty sure here I am trying to complicate things because I know I have a time advantage. Again, in my first day of playing, because again, this was a 2-day tournament, so my first 3 rounds, I was using my time pretty well. But on my second round, or my second day games, which were the final 2 rounds, this one and the last one, when my opponent got into time trouble, I was only thinking about, oh, maybe I can win if I complicate things, right? Not playing to the best of my abilities, just kind of playing wishfully for some sort of mistake. So, yeah, this game, very lazy by me. No counting. No counting, not trying to simplify, not trying to play the best, just really trying to win. And I think the pressure of like, oh, I can get 3rd place if I win this potentially got to me. But that really shouldn't affect me too much, because I've been in that position before. So yeah, peep, like here, I think this is where time trouble kind of got to black. Like, what white is planning is to cut here, right? But I'm pretty sure this just does not work. Black can extend here, which threatens to Goblin's Nose. So if I fix the Goblin's Nose, here's a good Tetsuji problem. How can you capture this cutting stone here? How can you capture the cutting stone at P9? Well, even just by looking at it, I think a tarrying down probably just works. If something like this happens. Again, you might lose the upper right, but white's going to lose the entire center. But if you don't want to do that, you can play this clamp here, where the key is, if white Hane's here, how can you capture? You can capture by Haneing again. And there's no way for now white to capture this stone, or to save this stone. So if you connect, that's a capture. If you cut, that's a connect and die. So, yeah, I think, like, even this. So again, like, what is this? A 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's a 4-move sequence. And I have like 25 minutes on my clock. And this is Fisher time. So I have like 25 minutes on my clock. And I always tell my own students, like, okay, play quickly in the opening, which is fine. But in the middle game, that's when you should use all your time. But I was just not using my time. So, yeah, very lazy by me. But because of that, black probably saw this. And, like, I can't remember exactly, but black's probably maybe 1 or 2 minutes left. And I think the time pressure did end up getting to black a little bit, because black goes here. Now, obviously, if I just connect, black's going to play here, and I've gained nothing, right? So I say, okay, I got to sacrifice. And this sacrifice, so I push up once and then push here. Now black has two options here. Black chose this variation, just blocking, and I could connect. And then black could play the Goblin's Nose. The variation I thought black might choose is to push first and then Atari. And now this push becomes Sente directly. And what I mean by that is now, because one, this, excuse me, even if I cut here, black can still connect by going here. Because if I Hane, this Atari is Sente. And then maybe Atari again. And now this is captured in a ladder. So even if I cut here, black can still connect. And black, this is going to get risky for white. And by risky, I mean white has 2 liberties, black has 3. So this wouldn't work. So white's kind of forced to go here. So yeah, black still gets this move. Black connects to the upper right and does it all in Sente is the key. Where when black goes here, I get to block, but now I can still Hane here. So black goes here, plays the Goblin's Nose, but I get to Hane. And this Hane is very big. And now I have a chance. I have a chance here. So I go here, black Hanes. So right now, both players are missing a humongous move. And that is this Atari here. So one, I saw that obviously if I connected like this, right? I was like, okay, well, black's going to connect because that's what that's threatening. And then even if I get this Atari, like black's connected back, to the right side anyways. But I should at least, even if this was the case, I should still do this. Because one, I fix my cut in the center, and I force black to play a move on the inside. And I save these 2 stones at K6 and L6. But I could do it this way. And the difference is, now I'm going to get Sente. Because if black goes here, next I'm going to fill. And even if black captures the 2, the idea with filling is now I can cut here. And this threatens to kill the 2. And now, yeah, this is going to end well for white. White has a lot of outside liberties, whereas black does not. Yeah, even maybe Hane and connect. Something like this. And even if the worst case scenario for white is Seki, in Sente, like black has to answer. So we can imagine, let's say it looks something like this, right? Something like this, right? Something. Then I can come back and answer the Goblin's Nose anyway. So I can make this Seki or capture or even force black to have to capture. If black has to spend all these moves on the inside, that's a huge gain. So what else can black do? If black just goes here, then I can connect normally, and black still needs to fix. Black still needs to fix. And if black Atari's this way, I can take, or sorry, I can Atari and play here, and we'll see that it's risky, but we can see that white is going to get something here. White is going to get something here because there's a cut here. Black's low on liberties on this side, so it's just dangerous, right? Like in one move, I can capture here, like this, and so black has to go here, but I can push here. And again, there's the cut here, and yeah, it's very dangerous, very dangerous. It's dangerous for both sides, but yeah, and I even think taking here works as well. Yes, it's very similar. Where after this, maybe takes better, maybe here, but basically, black has a lot of things to worry about. Is the idea, and even if like black can cut here, I can use this move anytime, and that'll help things significantly. Like if black has to take, then connecting underneath is quite nice. So, yeah, basically, I need to save these 2 stones. That's the bottom line. But by going here and playing here, black was able to cut, and so now I lose the 2 stones, And so now black never needs to fix at M5 is the basic idea. Push up, black fixes. And yeah, here again, I don't know what was wrong. Again, through all of this, no counting. So I'm just looking at this board and I'm like, oh, I'm behind. But I can simply just wedge here and capture these 4 stones, which is humongous. It's humongous. Black Atari's this way. There's this throw in or a cut. So I can capture these stones here. And black still needs to spend moves to live. And I think this move's fine that I played here. Hane. Because again, black does need to live. But after this, again, I can Atari here, which threatens to capture the 4. But I'm so focused on, oh, I'm behind. I have to make something happen. I'm basically thinking I have to kill this group to win. When if I just do this, I'm in the driver's seat. And it's because, you know, I capture a stone on the right side. I capture these 4 stones. Black probably doesn't need to connect per se, but black's definitely lost a lot on the right side potentially. There's a cut here I can take. Like, yeah, this is so much better. And I even saw this, but for some reason I was like, no, that's not enough. When it's clearly enough. So instead I cut here, Atari, and cut, because again, now I need to capture these. And so now we get this crazy, yeah, even right here, if I just take this, this is again white in the driver's seat. Because again, now this entire right side, or at least the lower right, is huge. It's humongous. And what I was worried about was this kind of move. But even if black plays this kind of move, the idea is if I play like here, sure, black can wedge. Actually, what move? This move? Black can wedge, but the idea is when I connect, I'm threatening to cut next. So even if this happens, I can capture here in the center, which again is humongous. And there's some AGA here up top, but white's gonna live. White's gonna live here. Something like this. And again, even if some cut works here, like something like this, or black can go here once, something, right? Surely capturing in the center is worth more than what black gets in the corner. Like if this kind of thing happens. Yes. Yeah. All right. So yeah. But I was worried about this wedge here. I was worried about this wedge. Yeah. So I go there, but black connects, which is Sente, and now black fixes, which was like, it is a big move, but the upper side's bigger, but I think black thinks black has more ko threats. So we have this ko, and I say, okay, well, it's double ko. Plus me losing this ko, like let's say I connect, and let's say I make a ko threat. Me losing this ko, which by the way, I do have ko threats, so I don't know why I'm worried about that, but let's say I don't know. What's a ko threat? Push here. After black takes the ko, there's a lot of bad AGA up top, and I'm sure you can kind of see it, where black can play this kind of move and potentially kill the whole upper side, upper right. Like if I block, black can play here, and Hane, that captures. If I kick, play here. Yeah, I guess I'm going to lose some, like part of the tail. Like black's going to go here. And then I can, what? Well, this definitely lives, but maybe I can do this one. But regardless, like, I'm going to keep most of the corner alive. And like in this scenario, I've cut off these stones here. So I think it's a better trade for white. Plus, I keep most of the right side. But I just take it as like, okay, it's double ko. So go here, yep. Right there. Black. So a take. Push. And black just takes. And again, black can do this because black's actually already connected. Because if black covers, black can Atari here. So black's already fixed here. So I don't even know what this ko threat was. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, so I can actually tell you what I was thinking now that I've thought about it a little bit, is I'm basically thinking, okay, well, black, I'm not alive here fully on the center here. So black has a million co-threats to threaten this like whole stick here, which is again, this whole co-fight and a lot of this game was all the problems for white started when white made this group. I had to make sure it lived. So I couldn't play co's very well because I had to worry about all the co-threats black could get. Like, if I push here and black just blocks, like black pushing here is most likely Sente. Because, okay, I kill the right side, which is big, but it's not as big as all these stones here. So, also, my co-threat lost points as well, because I could Atari and force black to capture. But instead I play there and let black stand up, which, by the way, threatens to cut here, which is huge. Black comes there, play there. So I thought black could have actually kept playing because of all the co-threats here, but this is okay too. So I was like, oh, thank goodness I got to connect. And then play here. Yep, this was big. End game, yep. And then attach. The point of the attach is these 3 stones Silavaji. Black can't Hane under because Atari. And then here. Now, yeah, this is probably too big. I wonder if there's a world where black can do this and capture down here. I wonder what is bigger. Because this at least means black gets to connect everything underneath. Whereas in the game, black answers, and then I was able to get this Hane. So, like, compare the two. What looks bigger? Oops. Somewhere. Yeah, compare the two. What's better for black? It's tough to say. It's very close, regardless. Play there. Then play here. But yeah, basically after the ko on the right side, white is pretty much behind, but it is still close. And again, with the time pressure, there's still a potential. There's still a chance. But then black plays his kick at p2, and I do the strangest thing imaginable. Because what is black threatening? Black's threatening a ko. And I could definitely just fix and be fine, right? Play this move, something, right? But what I do is, I know there's a ko here, so what do? I use all my ko threats here and then go elsewhere. This would only make sense if I'm going to avoid the ko. But why would I go elsewhere? Because black starts the ko, but now black's 100% alive on the right side. So what was I doing? And even, we'll see, black ends up capturing these stones here at S7 because of the ko. But there's no ko threat here if I don't, or not as many, I should say, if I don't fill here. And I'll show you what I mean once we get to that. So we have this ko, and the thing with this ko is my whole right side, lower right, is not alive. So, yeah, this is like the definition of a flower ko for black. So I play here, yeah, black answers. Yep, gotta connect. Gotta play here. Yeah, black goes here, yeah, gotta answer. And then black goes here. So this is what I was referring to. So play here. So yeah, like this move, this is not a real threat because when black takes, even though I can push, this lower right is much bigger than the upper left. So black can peep and then connect here. And this forces me to play here. So black can reduce me down to 2 points and scoop out the entire corner and still come back and connect. Because the thing is, the only way for me to get really anything here is to clamp, but black doesn't need to play this move. Black can play standing up. And this threatens to capture the 3 stones anyway. So even if I capture these 3 stones, black captures these 3 stones. So, yeah. Not really a co-threat, but I think black just knew black had co-threats, so black was like, okay, I'll just answer. Because again, this whole, basically from like move, I don't know, like 80 and maybe not 80, maybe like 100 or so, black was low-ish on time. So I think black was just trying to simplify. So black cuts. So this is what I was talking about. So I played this, which is kind of a co-threat, not really. Black answers. But then black has this co-threat, right? But imagine I didn't make these exchanges here. I don't connect. And then let's say I make this bad move. And black does all this. When black cuts for the co-threat, after this, black has no more co-threats there. Because when black descends, I have an extra liberty on these 3 stones. But in the game, after I connect and black descends, I have 2 liberties. So even just filling gave black more co-threats. So not only me playing all these moves on the right side took away my own co-threats, it also gave black more co-threats. And it gave black not just 1 more co-threat, not just 2 more co-threats, but 3 more co-threats. So I basically said, okay, I have to Atari once, because if I ignore now, this is way too big. But even if I get to Atari once, at least now I can block and sente. So that was my thinking. Now going back to this lower left, basically, if black ignores, which I think black can, I can take, and it's going to be some co-ish again. Like black can Atari, and I can Atari like this. But, again, I think black has threats on the right side. And even if black doesn't, I have to make the first co-threat, and I am not seeing any co-threats here. So, yeah, nothing big at least. Nothing big. Yeah. So basically I played this whole, the middle game was okay, but this whole scenario was definitely just disastrous for white. So I lose these stones. And yeah, basically at this point, there's no, white's too far behind at this point. Play here. This is actually a nice optimization black can do. So again, what black's worried about is cut, and then I can capture here. So the question is, how should black fix? How should black fix? Well, if you notice, this group here is cut off from the right side. And so if we fill in all of these liberties, like so, we can see that I'll make it make sense. When white goes here, this is an Atari, right? So black has to fill here. So the best way to fix this cut is by taking here, because it fixes this problem, right? Because now white can't go here, of course. But it also fixes the problem of having to add a move to capture here once all these liberties are filled. So when black goes here, you'll notice black ends up playing J7 as well. So black lost a point by doing this. Didn't end up mattering, but it is important to mention. So push, peep. So at least I got my follow-up to N18. Yeah, so all this was worth losing this is what I was basically saying, which is definitely not true. So we have endgame. And yeah, just it ends up being closer than I thought it would be. And again, this is where counting is so valuable. Like, it ends up being a 4-point game. White loses by 4.5. So yeah, here we can see black had to fill. We did end up filling Dame, but at this point, there's nothing that needs to be, like, the Dame is not important. So white does, or black ends up losing by 4.5, winning by 4.5. And so on the board, black's ahead by 11, right? 12? Yes, by 12. So again, it ended up being closer than I imagined. Like, even when we counted, I was like, whoa, it's that close? Wow. Which again just shows, like, throughout this whole game, there was just no counting whatsoever. And that's not good. Especially when my goal is, okay, let's play good go. Yeah, even having an idea of the score is better than just, like, playing haphazardly without even considering it. So, yeah, I ended up losing this game. And so Cheuk ended up getting 3rd place. And after my loss, somehow I ended up getting 8th place in the division, which, again, I was shocked by. But, again, when everybody's so close, in terms of being, like, there's a lot of 2-2 players, or by the end there's a lot of 3-2 players, and I ended up being 2-3. So it makes sense in terms of scoring, or like just by the win-loss. Like, there were 3 players ahead of me, not including Cheuk, that were 3-2 that I'd never played. But I was still like, wow, I was in the third place match, and I got 8th afterwards, which that's how brackets end up being sometimes. But yeah, it was, if there's something I can take from this tournament, obviously, you know, playing better, slowing down, using my time, all that stuff. But first place, second place, third place were all of my losses. My first loss was to first place. My second loss was to second place. And my third loss was to third place. So that was my sum of scores. Some of my opponent's scores were very high, at least. So that's something, at least. But yeah, that was my final round game. And that was my final review for the 2024 Midwest Open. Super fun tournament. Again, every year so far I've been, this is the third year, we've been to a new venue. And they're wildly different from the last. So it's always a fun experience coming and seeing what Devin, the tournament director, has chosen. So speaking of Devin, I want to thank Devin for putting together this great event, and hope for the 2025 one. Hopefully I can go to that one. But yeah, if you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.